We bought, we sold, our portfolio changed, and here's what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WealthDom with me, your host, NoblePM. Once again, this is a weekend edition where we're going to just discuss how our portfolio changed and what influenced those changes. So last week was Thanksgiving. The market was closed 1.5 days. There were not that many opportunities, but still, one of the big things that we did, actually the single position that we sold, was HIMS and HERS. So ticker symbol HIMS had a huge run. We actually bought it back here and then we sold it up here, and after that it just had a huge retracement. Actually, I did 3 selling bids, so I sold it once almost at the top, and then as I saw that this is not going well, I sold it completely. As I said, when I bought HIMS and HERS, this was a trading position. Should you hold or not HIMS for a longer time? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. Never take financial advice from YouTube, from a YouTuber like me. Also, everything that I'm saying here is not financial advice. Do not trade stocks on what I'm saying. I'm just laying out my personal thoughts here. And with that, doing mental exercises for future trades that I will do. The purpose of WealthDom, of this channel, is to build and protect wealth. And in order to do that, you have to become better, exactly as you would do with tennis, soccer, painting, anything that you do, you have to keep doing it, keep getting better, take notes, see where you went wrong, where you went in the right direction, do more of what works and do less of what doesn't work. Okay, then we opened 3 new positions. One of them was HPQ. Did do a mistake. I have to acknowledge that all 3 of the following positions that I'm going to reveal were mistakes when I bought them. I should have waited. I bought them all before the earnings. So let's go through the first one. HP, it's a PC company, or they also create servers. Actually, that's what they are up here this year. But we can see they're pretty much there where they were in 2022. And this is getting a bit out of hand. But what was the actual thought process behind buying HP? And also all 3 of them. I bought them all at the same time. And this is what the thought process was. So I bought HP, I bought Dell. If you're following the channel, you know that I already own Dell. I sold Dell somewhere here, and we're back where we started. Also, all 3 positions are negative currently in my portfolio, but I do see a good prospect that they are going to go into a positive, and all 3 of them are only trades. I do not intend to hold them for the long time. This doesn't mean that they are not exceptionally good companies or that they are bad companies. This is just my personal opinion on how I'm analyzing these 3 stocks. So HP, Dell, and Autodesk. And I would say that from the 3 of them, Autodesk is one of those interesting companies. And I'm not even going to go over the history, but what Autodesk does is pretty hard to get in. Actually, there's only one more company. There were 3. But there's only one more company, it's a German company, that could compete with Autodesk, and it's Nemetschek. So Autodesk is one of those companies that they are creating software for construction, for building. If you're building auto parts, if you're building buildings, bridges, everything that you can create it. They also have 3D modeling software, so planning software, modeling software, everything that you need in order to create an object. So from planning to creation, modeling, testing it. I'm, for example, a structural engineer, so I did work a lot in Autodesk when I was creating my structural models and testing them for collapse. And that is also something that Autodesk Roboto did. So Autodesk is a pretty good company, and they are going up here basically because AI. They cannot grow sales unless there are more construction companies. Now their motto, as all of the companies currently, the software is for rent. You can no longer, I believe you can't buy anything anymore. Just like with Adobe, you have to rent everything. So that's a pretty good model. They had a couple of good years, but now it's not like with Adobe that I'm a creator. Your mother can become a creator. Your grandma can become a creator. Well, you can become a structural engineer. That's just harder. And also, if you want to buy their software, it costs a lot. And it has to have a good ROI, basically paying their software and having your returns. So unless they're coming to come out with something for the masses, I don't know where else they can grow. So if AI will help them just a tinge, I can understand it. Also, this hype right here, let's go over to a 5-year chart. So close this one up. So I can understand this growth, but anything else is going to get harder and harder. Just rescale this. So here's a chart from 85. Well, that's 1 year before I was born. And you can see they did have good growth. So starting from 1, 2, it took them almost 30 years to become a, well, 30 bagger. But now they're pretty much up here, which would have made them a 300 bagger. So now the question is, what's next for Autodesk? Take a look here. This growth right here after 2008. So yes, there was a lot of building. This is actually exactly how you can evaluate it. So there was a lot of building. Boom. Then comes 2007, 2008. Massive influence. Then they have to get back. Let's just say, how long did it take them to get back on their feet? So for 2009 was the bottom. Then they got back on their feet in 2016, let's just say here, no, 2014, so almost 5 years. If you have bought it here, 5 years, you're back here, then it's almost stagnation. Then 2016 comes along, again, you're building, a little bit of pandemic there, then a lot of hype because of nothing here, 2021, a lot of money injection, then a little bit of correction, and now hype because of AI. So is this company future-proof? Well, after they go back here, yes, you can think about it once more. I would think about it if I would buy them once more, but for now, I am considering this just a trade. So now that we're going to go over the technicals, and I would just say this was a mistake that I bought them. I should have waited. Just a bit. I actually was expecting that they jump, and it was Autodesk stepped out even at 3 or 4% plus. So I was just waiting for the announcement, and that I would have sold it because it was pretty obvious. But the risk reward at that moment was, well, the risk was more than the reward. But that's at that moment, because next week we're going to talk about our risk analysis just in a couple of minutes. Next week should be a bit different. After that, it should be a lot different, and then maybe a Santa Claus rally. So I'm pretty much sure that I'm going to have the opportunity to sell this stock with a profit, all 3 of them. And that's kind of it for this analysis. I would say that I did add to, let's take a look here. Oh yeah, this is a new position, target. We opened target. We added to Powell Industries a bit. And of course, we dollar cost average into our S&P ETF, S&P 500 ETF. One last thing that I added to is Advanced Microcomputers. They are here. They're trying to trigger a buy signal. And honestly, this is also only a trade for me. I'm not considering to, although there is an interesting thesis for AMD, and actually for almost all of them, for HP, for Dell, for Autodesk, not so much for Autodesk, but for all of these manufacturers for PCs or components for PCs of server racks, is that next year should be the year where those 3-year refresh rates for PCs and Macs and so on should be reopened. Basically meaning we should all buy new PCs, because I know my PC is almost over 5 years old. My Mac is long due for an upgrade, especially I still have my old Intel processing Mac. So all of my technology is due for an upgrade. Now, will this happen next year? It's probable. It's possible. The probabilities are more than 50%, let's just say, but it doesn't have to happen, especially if there's a financial crisis. So that could push it up 1 more year. So there is a bullish case for AMD, even if they won't have the best AI processor like NVIDIA does. Even if that would be the case, there still is a bullish case for AMD due to that thing. Okay, so now let's go over a bit of risk analysis, and then we're going to wrap up this episode. So let's take a look at major economic events for the next week. We have from China, Chinese manufacturing PMI. This is Monday, 2nd of December. We have Chinese manufacturing PMI, the ISM manufacturing PMI for the US. Then on the 3rd of December, on Tuesday, we have from the US the jobs report. On Wednesday, 4th of December, we have from Australia growth rate QQQ. From the US, we have the ISM PMI. We have the Fed Chair Powell speech. Then on Tuesday, you know what? I'm actually going to skip over the non-US economic events. The next one will be on Friday, where we have non-farm payrolls and the Michigan Consumer Sentiment PMI. Okay, so also we have the balance of trade on Saturday, 7th of December for China. So let's take them all into consideration here. Economic events. I would say that there is a high to medium possibility of a bad outcome. So economic events could mess up our portfolio for next week. Now the entire market is almost at an all-time high once more. So let's go here to a 1-year chart. I'm expecting this next week because everybody's going to come out of their Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll take a look at the market and say this market still has possibilities. So there could be that on Monday we see a lot of buying. We are almost at an all-time high. We also, I believe we did, let me go here to the futures, the S1. We did go over 6,000 on Friday. So this does have possibilities to go even higher. We do have a buy signal triggered. The RSI is not overbought, so let's take this into consideration. RSI under 70, it's actually at 64. So I'm going to leave this as medium risk. The MACD is in buy. Also, I'm going to leave this at medium risk. So it's not coming out of a buy or out of a sell, but it is not currently triggering a buy, but it's in a buy position. The S&P 500 is in new all-time high. With just a slight bit of dip here, it gave up just a tinge. But all-time highs do back for new all-time highs. So I'm going to leave this as medium risk. This is the weekend. I do not see any kind of geopolitical news, major events. So geopolitical risk is at the medium risk. There's always risk. We are still in a strong seasonal phase of the market. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it here. Even if I add the strong seasonal risk, I'm just going to, let's say, strong season. Let's say, even if I do it here low, it's still at 50-50. So anything can happen next week. What I'm going to do, I do have a little bit of cash. So if we going to close this up, so risk levels are for next week. We only do 1 week forward looking. Risk level for next week are medium. There's always risk in the market. Remember, that's always my position. There is nothing like with zero risk in the market. There's always some kind of risk in the market, but how high the risk? But the important is how high is the risk? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a little cash on the side. Your cash position is currently at, let's just take a look at the cash position, 3.44% of the portfolio. So if something goes wrong, I can still add money to the market. But anything else, we're pretty much dedicated to the market for right now. And I'm also looking for the next week. If there is a good opportunity, I'm going to sell all 3 of those that I already talked about. And I also have a couple of other stocks in my mind. So with this being said, thank you so much for watching. Remember, this is not financial advice. Please do your own homework, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not trade, buy or sell stocks on the basis of what you see here. Always do your own research. But thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.